High vibrations, sweet babies. Okay. We are just about out of this Mercury retrograde portion of this very strange, very transformative time period that we've been in as a whole, as a collective. And I'm just gonna be so real, like, this was interesting. Like, I love astrology. I love the woo-woo and I love the mystical. But even myself, I was like, this is honestly beyond words how much this energy is shifting so much for so many people. So we have Mercury going direct here in the next few days as I am recording this. And there still might be some impact. Impact is a word that's like coming up right now. But yeah, there's this sort of lingering energy that's involving communications, technology, letters, agreements, documents, travel, information, data, all that kind of stuff. Okay, Mercury is that planet, okay? And it might still be so that you feel some shifts in the communication, things just like getting lost in translation, just feeling blocked in things regarding the planet of communication. These cards are like a little bit, they're like not shuffling the way that I want them to. Give me a moment. So there we go. The way that this planet, I think, is really going to be affecting us is really having a lot to do with interesting. There might be a situation where you're feeling a little stuck. This might be regarding a relationship. You may be feeling stuck in regards to how to move just in this situation. This could be like what actions to take. You want to be stable, you want to be secure. I feel like you're either feeling really like you're trying to be grounded about how you approach a situation, but I also see that you are maybe feeling a little bit too, like, instead of feeling grounded, you just feel stuck. Like, you just feel like there's really no movement in a situation. I want to say that this is actually interesting. This is something that emotions are coming up around this topic, but for some reason there is just like a feeling of something just being blocked. Feeling like stagnant, like there's no motion or movement. I want to say that around the time of the next new moon, you might see some things find some movement and some flow again. I'm finding like this is really feeling tricky for you. Like, this might feel like your personal power is, like, you feel kind of powerless in a specific situation. And I feel like this is something that's on your mind. I feel like it's something that brings like a light into your life, or maybe like a light in your belly of some kind, and you're just like unsure of how to really proceed in this situation. Oh my God, wow. A huge, beautiful hawk, red-tailed hawk, is just flying right next to me right now. Also, if you can't hear, I am sitting next to that waterfall again. Wow, this hawk is just soaring around above my head right now. So, yeah, you need to look at this situation from a bird's eye view. How is this situation really looking when you take a step back and you pull yourself out of like your side of the situation, or maybe even how the other person might be thinking about the situation, and really just think of it like with all the things that you know, with all the pieces of the puzzle. For some reason, that's what wants to come out, with all the pieces of the puzzle. Interesting. That's so weird. That card just like flew out, and when I saw it go out, it looked like something different than what it was. So yeah, there's just like this kind of feeling of really taking a step back from the situation, pulling your energy back and looking at the situation. I feel like now might be a good time for you to preserve or protect your energy. Not necessarily like anything is out to get your energy, but there just might be a need for you to preserve your energy and just be a little bit more mindful about how much energy you're giving certain situations. Dice is here showing up. What kind of chances are you taking? Are you making dicey choices? Or maybe that's what you're like a little bit worried about, and that's why you're like you're stumped. You're like not sure how to move forward about a situation. Okay, something feels like it needs to end, or there already was an end in a situation. Interesting. So I have had, a friend of mine pass away a couple years ago, and he was really like one of my very best friends growing up, and I have just been really feeling his life lessons with me lately, and I think like as I connect and heal some like inner child stuff, like his spirit is brought up a lot because I spent so many years of my childhood with this person as a really dear friend of mine, and I don't know why I'm just feeling like his energy is just keeps being like wanting to it just wants to show up. But the other day in a reading, I was like, yeah, the date September 11th might be significant. And I was actually looking at his obituary because I was writing about him. And I looked at his obituary and I realized that that's actually the date that he passed away. So I don't know. There's just this feeling of if I'm going to be completely honest about what I've really felt like his spirit has been bringing up for me is this need for forgiveness. Yes, because I'm not going to go too far into his story, but, just in what the overall message is that I've been feeling into and kind of what I'm seeing here in the cards is that there's something, you're being divinely guided by just like your own higher calling, your own spirit. Oh my God, I'm going to cry because I was like, let me make sure before I say this. And if this card pops out, then I'll speak on it. And Ancestry just popped out. Okay, so I wasn't going to say it because it's touchy, but I do now feel like I just got confirmation that you have a passed on loved one, a passed on family member, somebody who is with you right now. And there's something about whatever situation you have going on in your life, or there is a situation that might call for some forgiveness in your life. And for some reason, this passed on family member and loved one is like very much involved in that. Like they want that for you. They are like very much in like, for some reason, their spirit is like very highly invested in the idea of forgiveness. It's very interesting that this message is coming through. I had no plans for this reading. There's a need for forgiveness in order for you to find true, I would say, like, I want to say, like, there's this change, but I also feel like it's a change in your, like, weight. Like, you might feel lighter. For some reason, earlier this morning, I was getting this message coming through of, like, light as a feather, stiff as a board. Like somebody feels light as a feather, but then somebody else feels stiff as a board. And for some reason, I'm just getting this energy in this reading of, like, you need to start looking at some situations with a little bit more of a bird's eye view, of a higher perspective, of an enlightened perspective that can offer you a little bit more, I would say, peace. But it's also going to help empower you, okay? I think it's also going to help you realize what kind of doors you really can open. I'm also being shown here in the cards and shown by Spirit that, you know, it's in your best interest to just pause, slow down. For some reason, I'm like stammering on my words as if like someone doesn't know how to like pump the brakes, or say like, I don't want to do this, or say like, I need time, or I need to slow down, or this, you know, I don't, you know, that's the kind of feeling of like, there's like this discomfort. And, you know, Spirit is also reassuring me that there's a need for some boundaries. That's going to really protect your joy. Really going to protect your joy. I feel like at the core of a lot of these readings, there's sort of an underlying message of just like, you need to preserve your joy. And right now, you know, as much as we're doing a lot of heart space healing as a collective, I think there's also just this like really big message that's come through quite a bit. Maybe it has more to do with like the Venus retrograde type of energy, but also I think maybe, oh, sorry, headphone users. I'm trying to make sense of some of these symbols. Yeah, there's just like an overall theme of like, you know, you discovering how sacred your energy is, and having like a little bit more of a sense of self-worth to be like, no, you don't get access to me. I don't like the way this feels. And yeah, okay, so something is feeling a little disruptive to maybe the heart healing that you have been trying to find and that you were on that journey towards. But what really is required of any kind of healing process is to really have like firm boundaries and really, you know, preserve your energy. Like, you are healing. That's like why people go to hospitals or to you know, rehabilitation centers, whatever, to like heal, to be in a healing environment. and find, like true recovery. And, yeah, and I feel like this came through in another reading too with the inner teenage healing of like part of your healing journey, what might heal your inner teen is saying, no, slow down. Now is not the right time. It's not a good time for this. I don't want to do this. This is the feeling I'm getting. And you know what? It's a little bit stronger than the last readings that I was feeling into, where Spirit was urging us to slow down and to think about things. But now I'm seeing that there is this feeling of cycles, something ending. Oh, yes. Okay. Cycles, faded, karma. There's been a lot of energy of like karmic cycles showing up lately. Yeah, it's just like a little bit scattered. It just feels like whoa, like hold up, like pause. Too much. It's like too much, too fast. Someone's got their eye on you. Yeah, there is some like indications about like traveling. But from where I'm sitting, someone's like really interested in seeing where you're going or what you end up doing. But it's from a very like, I don't know. Yeah. Okay. This is bringing back that spectator energy, and the hawk just flew over us again. Okay, so there's somebody here who's still very much in your orbit who is observing you. They want to see where you go, and who you hang out around. They're definitely gossiping and like whisper, like, putting that hand up to the mouth, whisper kind of energy. That's what I'm getting from this. It's like they are very much just like watching you I'm just gonna be honest, just to like gossip, just to talk about you. And you're really being asked by Spirit, as I see the hawk again just landed on a tree, to just rise above it, to just simply rise above it. Who truly, that bullshit's for the birds. That bullshit's for the birds. Somebody who's been kind of a sabotage to things finding, I would say, a true new beginning. Let's talk about this. There's an energy here of a new beginning around the corner. An air sign, Gemini, Libra, or Aquarius might be significant in this. Let's talk about this new beginning. Let's talk about it. Patience. Good things come to those who wait. Okay, so I had this conversation with my therapist a while back where it's like we talk about, oh yeah, like I'm entering a new chapter, right? Like we might first get these okay, so the conversation for me started around, I'm gonna be moving. This was around this time last year, and I was like, I'm moving. I know it's gonna take a lot out of me. I need to mentally prepare myself. I'm moving away from my hometown. I'm moving away from my family. I really won't have a ton of support. Like, it's gonna be challenging. This is what I'm doing though, and because this chapter here in this area is closing for me. So funny because I'm here again, but anyway. So there was this feeling of like, okay, I can see that this chapter's closing. I know that that's happening. However, that whole new chapter truly starting, truly beginning, where I felt like I was actually in my next chapter, did not come until much, much later. Like, the ending of a chapter can be many pages long. It can be many pages long. Okay, the chapter doesn't just like end in the middle of a sentence. It doesn't just end abruptly. Like, chapters often close and they can take a long time. And then for you to feel like you're really into the actual plot of the next chapter, it can take a while. And I just feel like there is an energy here of someone taking risks, taking a gamble on a situation. This might be out of like financial obligation, or maybe, I'm gonna be honest with you, what I'm feeling into is like desperation, like feeling like financially desperate for something. So to me, yeah, you're just being asked to make sure that you're not, actually, like, what's coming through is like, don't settle for something that feels like it's not really at your pace. It doesn't feel like as secure as it should. Like, something doesn't feel right about it. You're being asked to like think bigger, like go beyond that, because what you want to manifest, or what you could manifest, could actually be something much, much larger. But for some reason, like, you just don't expect luck to be on your side with that. So you might like settle for something, you just might settle for something. Seems like there's two different conversations that you could be having. You could have a conversation with an earth sign, and you can have a conversation with a fire sign: Aries, Leo, Sagittarius. Earth signs are Taurus, Virgo, Capricorn. But yeah, there's this communication came out in between them of compromise, forgive, work it out. So you might need to have conversations with two different people, or like you might be one of those signs needing to have a conversation with the other. But yeah, there's just this feeling of like, I need to figure myself out. I'm still figuring out my own path. Infinity symbol here is trying to show up and say, hey, don't get caught in a loop. All right, don't get caught in your cycles. Like, you're on a journey right now for yourself. You're figuring yourself out right now. But there's also this energy of like, I don't know, like you might need to be having that conversation with somebody. But like the tone of that conversation, I feel like is different depending on who those people are. Like with one person is like, whoa, pump the brakes. I'm still figuring out like what I want, what I need. I'm still figuring myself out. I'm still figuring out what I like. Maybe just like my wants, wishes, desires, what I want from partners, etc., etc. And then the other conversation that you might be having is like, hey, like, I did some weird stuff. Not weird stuff, but like, I did some things in the past that I don't really agree with, or like, I was still figuring myself out, you know. I'm sorry for saying weird stuff, because I'm just like thinking about my own situations and how this applies sometimes when I'm reading, and I'm like, wow, okay, you know, like if I'm really having like this conversation with somebody and I'm really feeling into what needs to be said, it's like, you know, we do some things that feel really strange when we look back on them, when we realize that we didn't really know who we were in those moments, or we weren't really figured out yet. We didn't really know what we wanted or whatever, and we act in ways when we look back and it's like, I don't even agree with myself in that situation. So yeah, I'm just feeling like the tone of that conversation is really different depending on who you're talking to. Okay. There's also an indication here that the earth sign that is showing up around you is being extremely sneaky. Okay, once that honeymoon phase comes to an end, honey, something like about you need to use your intuition. Once you're inside somebody's house, you might like get a lot more clarity around a person and who they are. That's sort of an energy I'm feeling into. You might actually be like traveling to visit somebody, or there's like an indication of like you taking a trip with someone. Just don't. I'm gonna be so honest, like I'm reading these cards right now and I'm thinking about my own situations, and I'm like, your intuition is sort of showing up and just kind of like giving you some like weird feelings and like red flags. And I'm feeling like do your best to kind of be in your own energy. Just try to be in your own energy. I'm just getting this feeling of like someone wanting to like bring you in and like take you in and like just be in close proximity, and like you're just kind of feeling like I'd like to be at a different residence. I think it's important for you to be in a space that's conducive for your own energy, figuring out your own self right now. And yeah, okay, so let's pull some clarifiers. Okay, good. I'm doing pretty good with timing. Let's see what wants to show up for us, friends. Eagle. Lots of bird medicine has been showing up lately. So your prayers will be answered. This looks like it's something to do with finances, new beginnings, right? Because there was for sure this energy of somebody being in your mix, in your orbit, where it just kind of feels like you're wanting this new beginning. It could be something great, but at the end of the day, you kind of know that it's sort of repeating the same cycles, and you kind of see that there's a little bit of some underlying energies that just don't really feel completely authentic and true to what you're looking for. There's something inside your body that's saying like, whoa, pump the brakes. There might be even like a little bit of a transactional dynamic to this relationship. There's just something about it that feels familiar to your past and your past cycles. And right now you're really trying to be in an energy of a new beginning, and this could really still be a part of that chapter closing. So if you're like, oh my God, what the fuck, these cycles are showing up again, like I'm supposed to be in a new beginning, that's okay. There's probably just a couple more pages left to the end of this chapter for you before this next beginning really unfolds. Because I mean, Venus retrograde is ending in a couple weeks. Okay, the final partial eclipse is on March 29th, I believe. And by that time, there's just going to be like all of this, the planets and their movement is going to just kind of regulate a bit. And I think with this is going to come a time of a little bit more clarity, a little bit more clear thinking. So if you're still feeling a little unsure, if you're still like trying to wake up to your new life and to your new beginning, as everyone promises in the eclipse season, just try not to have such huge expectations around what that looks like and how fast that's supposed to be. Venus probably popped in here during these last few weeks to kind of give you a little bit of disillusionment, perhaps, around what kind of, I'm here, it's giving like, okay, princess, like, okay, king kind of energy, but it's like, realistically though, like, that was probably a little bit more of a disillusioned or like an enchanted way, like, of looking at things, like when you're operating from like that kind of a lustful place, and it makes you, I think, just get knocked down to reality, get knocked down to like a grounded standpoint of like, okay, that's just like not a slow burn. That's not someone who's going to consistently show up. Like, that's just someone who wants to love bomb and like do the fun parts, but won't really be able to show up as a partner, as a friend, as a business partner, like whatever. And I think, so Venus might have left you with this place of like, well, what the heck do I even want? What the heck do I even need right now? What am I valuing really? Oh yeah, I value myself. My relationship with myself is what matters. I need this self-care. How can I pump the brakes in different areas of my life so that I can really give myself what I need, so that I can stay aligned with what is, my soul's calling, because we were really feeling into that as well. So let's get these clarifiers going here. Okay. Yes, 1010 was showing up for us, collective. Okay. Yeah. So there's for sure this energy of, yep, new moon. So pay attention to the time of the new moon. This is a really good, this upcoming new moon is probably one that you will want to actually start your manifestation, setting intentions, visualizations, because if you were trying to manifest anything through the eclipse season, good luck, buddy. Good luck, because what the fuck is going on, really and truly? Like, what am I even, what do I even really align myself with right now? I'm like 4 people all at once trying to really narrow in on who I am in this current timeline. You know what I mean? So it's like the things you wanted one moment could have shifted in the next. Mercury gave us new information. Venus treated us really nicely. All these types of things are storing up, and it was just kind of like a little bit of a tricky time to manifest anything. Okay, so yeah, all right, friends. So the energy here that is showing up is really showing me that we wanted a cycle to be really like over and done with, like quickly, like wrap that up. Let's get that done with. Okay, moving on. But that's just not how it went. That's just not how it goes. And it's showing here in the clarifiers that this stuff that we're trying to repress by doing that will then become this suppressed things that show up for us the next time that we have these like really big pivotal moments in our lives, whether they're influenced by planets or not. So instead of trying to just magically, by the grace of God, just be over a situation that probably was taking a lot out of us and probably will take a lot, yes, a lot from us in order to really heal and really see the situation for what it is. Ooh, yes. Healing your energy truly and fully in your core so that you can really see things from the kind of perspective that leaves you empowered and leaves you enlightened throughout your life. Like, this isn't a lesson that you're going to walk away from and then just stumble into and like keep making clumsy mistakes. Like, this was a pivotal chapter in your life in order for you to be able to fully see the full 360 of your life and how you show up in it, how you want to take flight from here, how you want to call in your manifestations. Yes, honey, this is like your moment of staring it exactly down in the face. Like, literally the hawk just flew right towards me, like right over my head and right like looking directly at me as I was speaking those words. Like, you are, it's coming back again, doing it again. Hi, baby. Oh my gosh. Like, you are in the chapter of your life where I feel like you're like staring down your manifestations. You're like, it's like I can feel it. I know what I want. I can almost fucking taste it at this point. But you would be lying to yourself if you said that there were certain things that didn't need healing. And you needing to tend to these things that need healing is not going to keep you from experiencing your blessings. It's only going to help you actually be able to see and observe and receive and witness your blessings in a much more enlightened way, in a much more heightened place. Okay, don't let money be your motive right now. Okay, I know that money is important. It's important to everybody, but money cannot be your motive right now, because this is going to bring you back into some old patterns and old cycles. Okay, even if it's not someone directly saying like, I'm gonna give you money or handing you money for like exchange of you doing this or whatever, there might be this underlying energy of status or of opportunities that might come with a situation, and feeling like, okay, this is probably what's right for me because this is going to elevate my status or whatever. I see that Spirit is asking you to think about your overall mental health and think about your overall health and what you're really needing in this time and space. I just feel like this is something that you prayed for, and Spirit's saying, ask and you shall receive. Okay, so something to do with social media, text messages. There's an element here of some karmic stuff, maybe some feelings of like betrayal energy. I don't know, it just feels a little bit like murky. Karmic feminine is showing up. So you might have had an experience with someone where, I don't know, you either had a conversation with someone and your intuition was activated, or maybe just the way that somebody was using their social media or the types of text messages you were getting. I don't know, there's just this energy here that Mercury probably was doing its thing by sharing with you like the way that someone uses something, the way that someone uses social media, the way that someone is using text messages or something of that nature is making you think about like what you really want, like what you are really looking for. And yeah, there's like it's bringing up some like suppressed things for yourself where you're like, oh shit, okay, maybe this isn't actually something that I'm ready to just be completely like moved on from, or this isn't something that I'm like I have fully let go of and I still need to heal around this. And yeah, I think it's something that give it time. Yeah, just that same energy of like, stop trying to rush this process. You cannot rush your healing. I'm surprised that didn't show up too. Yeah, there's just this feeling of like, right now you need to worry about creating this sense of real stability, of personal like foundation, and just really knowing that you can do that for yourself. And I think you need to kind of be in a mindset of like, by any means necessary, like this is something that you need to stay focused on and stay diligent around, because you know there might be things that show up in your life that really do seem enticing, but right, what was that last reading, or one of the readings that we did recently was like, all that glitters just ain't gold. And you're really understanding what you're worth right now. Doing some kind of practice or ritual with fire might be really beneficial for you. Maybe this is something you might want to do around the time of the new moon, or around time, like, I don't know. I just feel like it's a practice that might be really good for you, to just kind of be around fire. and connect with like the cleansing fire. And, you know, like the really beautiful practice would be, there's like something, you might want to be asking like the fire to, like, I don't know, burn away something that's like obstructing your vision, obstructing your sense of like your view. Like, I just feel like there's something that you want to like give to the fire to like have there be clarity around a situation. This might be something like you need to sacrifice. This might be something that you need to like let go of, or like see completely like taken away from you. Not taken away from you. I feel like this is something almost like an offering, like you put it into the fire and like the smoke will bring it up to the heavens, because that's like the belief in my culture is like when you do a sacred like ritualistic fire and you put your prayers or you put your offering into the fire. This could be like you could put a little bit of sage into the fire, or you could like burn a candle and like, you know, whatever, however you want to connect to the fire, like, and then you let the smoke bring that up to the heavens. And this is like a really like intentional moment for you to be saying like, I am giving this up, I am offering this up to you fully and completely. Like, cleanse this away from my life in order to really bring about this like new beginning, this new refreshed start. Because what I'm feeling is like there's almost like a fear of how powerful that is, or a fear of like how powerful like the fire really can be. But ultimately I think this is like going to be a real phoenix moment, like phoenix rising from the ashes, which means like there has to be ashes, there has to be dust, there has to be a complete burn down, let go, release of something that we were holding on to, right? To really say, I am offering this to you, to call in something very specific, to manifest something very specific, and to see this take a full, complete new shape. And this could be you, this could be your situation, this could be whatever was influencing your energy here in this reading. That might have been regarding finances, who knows? It could be so many different things. But I do feel like this energy of the fire being really like a very distinct message of rebirth. Like, we are very much in these final pages of our chapter, like this chapter ending right here, right? But like, you are now like when I reach those new chapters, this is what I prayed for. Like, you will have such a deep sense of clarity around like this. I had to let go of this in order to receive this thing and see this thing take a new shape. That's important though. I don't see you very specifically saying like, I want a whole new life, I want a whole new whatever. I see you being very intentional about something taking a new shape and taking a new sense of life in your life, if that makes sense. I hope that makes sense. But yeah, it's very much Phoenix energy. And there was actually a quote that kept popping into my head the other day, and it was like, I always do this to you guys, oh my goodness. She was not thrown to the fire, she was built from it. And that's like, that's the energy of this. It's like, you are understanding now like what you had to go through, this complete like shedding of skin, breaking down. But now it's like this almost like a little bit more Aries energy of like, okay, but I mean dismantled. I mean broken down. I mean to rubble. Like, right? I want it to be dust, because then, and only then, with this very like Aries intensity, Mars ruled intensity, right? To be like, then it can rise. And only from the ashes can it rise. It cannot come from anything else. And, I just feel like that is like a very empowering place, because you have to be fully in surrender and fully in this place of like letting it go, letting it be completely dismantled before your very eyes. No clinging on to something that makes you feel comforted. No clinging on to something that feels familiar from a past timeline. No like comfort blanket. No, like you have completely decided to like release yourself into the fire to see what can be built from those ashes. That's a very intense, like powerful message that's showing up, and I hope that that lands with somebody, because I just hope that that lands. I hope that that's well received, because I really do feel like there was like this rush of like on to the next thing. I need to move to this next chapter, but it's in the timing of the divine. And if the divine is showing up within your body, within your gut, to be like, slow down, slow down, slow down. Feel your way through it. You gotta feel it to heal it, baby. Okay? So that's my reading. I think I'm gonna do another reading while I'm here, because I intentionally carved out time for all of this today, so that I could do some readings before I get myself on the road for my model tour. I'm going up and down the East Coast. I'm so excited. It's going to be really just an amazing trip, full of creativity, community, collaboration, and I always get so inspired when I'm on the road. I've been very much coming out of my hermit mode and cocoon, and I'm really excited to just like be back on the road again. As much as I was like really trying to stay put more these days, that's just not completely my lifestyle. I definitely travel differently these days. I'm a little bit more relaxed, and I come home and I get myself grounded. I'm like, I travel alone, and I'm spending like most of my time alone on my travels, because I'm working. I want to show up in my best energy. I want to do work really well. I don't want to be exhausted. I don't want to like be rushing. It's all that kind of stuff. But I am excited to spend some time with people in cities that I don't get to very often. And I think there's just going to be a lot of beautiful things that come from this next, I want to say like month and a half of me hitting the road. And then I will be staying put in my area, doing a lot of art vending for the rest of the summer. So yeah, this is just, I think, going to be a creative purge. Is that what it's just like, I don't know if purge is the word that I really want to use, but it's just like, I'm going to completely just pour art out of my system for like the next 2 months here. And I'm very much looking forward to it. Okay, so that's my reading. Thank you so much for listening along, and I will talk to you very soon.